Increasingly, there has been a lot of chatter about developer productivity improvement because of AI tools. There are people who are claiming that there has been huge improvement in the developer productivity, but then there is also a resistance coming from the developers themselves who are saying that these AI tools are actually increasing their development workflow efforts and they are not really as good as some of these companies are claiming. Lot of companies are forcing their developers to actually use AI tools in their development workflow and they are almost making it mandatory. But what is the reality? Is it really helping the developers? And if yes, by how much? And if no, then why are we not talking about it? According to the recent Stack Overflow Developer Survey, 66% of the developers are not really happy with what result they are getting from the AI tools or generative AI tools. When I say generative AI tools, basically these large language models and the agentic tools such as Copilot, Windsor, Kirro, other such tools. The biggest frustration is whatever the solution that it gives, it is not always 100% working. It is almost there, but not yet completely there. They mostly use AI tools for things like debugging. Some people say, I don't use AI tools at all. Only 4% are saying that they have not encountered any problem while they are using AI tools. Only 4.4% of the respondents said that it handles complex tasks very well. But most of the percentage of people said that it was really bad at handling complex tasks and they don't really trust AI to do the complicated tasks in their application. And when it comes to the usage of AI agents, most of the people still don't use AI agents. Almost 52%, that is majority of the people, have not used agentic development. It's only around 38% of the developers who have used agentic development in their workflows. And that is the reason why more developers actively distrust the accuracy of the tools than trust it. It's only around 3% of the people who trust the responses that they are getting from the AI. Otherwise, most of the other set of people mainly fall in the category of not trusting. And that is the reason why 2025 is the first year where the positive sentiment about the AI tools has actually come down from 70% to around just 60%. That is almost 10% decrease from 2023 and 2024, that is last 2 years. Does that mean the developer productivity that these big companies that keep talking about is just a snake oil? That is not the case. In my personal capacity, the way I have been using agentic AI development, I am seeing definitely some positive results. But the positive results are not always in an equal measure in all the scenarios. We have to look at it from the various contexts, then only we will be able to make a reasonable understanding of what really the developer productivity means with these tools. According to the recent research on developer productivity due to AI tools, they have found that it is basically a function of task complexity and project maturity. That is, whether it is a greenfield or a brownfield project. Let's not get confused by these terms like greenfield or brownfield. Greenfield basically means scratch development and brownfield means a legacy application code that is already there and you are now trying to work on it. And what this study says is that if you are doing a greenfield project, then for doing simple tasks, it is very good. You almost get a developer productivity improvement of 35 to 40% in such scenarios. But however, as the complexity goes from low to high, you will start realizing that the human oversight needs to be much higher. So overall developer productivity is just around 10 to 15%. And in case of brownfield projects, even for the low complex tasks, the overall productivity gain is just around 15 to 20%. And in case of highly complex tasks on brownfield, it is even worse. So what it basically means, the codebase maturity plays a very important role in what will be your overall developer productivity. That is the reason why you can see that the developer productivity in case of greenfield projects is much higher than in brownfield projects. What also matters is what is the popularity of the programming language on which you are working. And data actually proves that. Depending upon the task complexity, if you are using highly popular programming language, then you will get better productivity gain than compared to less popular programming languages. In that case, even for low and high complexity tasks, the productivity gain will be slightly lesser than the popular programming languages. And this data is coming from quite huge number of companies. The next aspect is what is the overall codebase size that you are dealing with. If you are dealing with very small prototype kind of application, then it should not take too much of a time and you will see much better developer productivity when you are working with agentic tools on that kind of code base. But however, if you are working on a brownfield application and the overall code base is very huge, and let's assume that you are working on a very old legacy monolithic application which has been maintained over the last many years, then you will definitely see that on such kind of projects you will not be able to have a very good developer productivity. It gets impacted by that. As the number of lines increase, which happens in case of large projects that you will have to feed into the agent to do the programming, the accuracy and productivity gain of the AI actually starts decreasing. And that is a pattern that has been seen across many repositories, many large scale repositories. Why is that? Because it basically gets affected by the context window limitations. Context window is how much of a data that you can feed into the large language model when you prompt your questions to the large language model. That is what the context length is. And then also large code bases have very high noise. That is things which are not implemented consistently properly over a large period of time. It will be having higher complexity in terms of dependencies and the domain specific logic. And that is the reason why in the large code bases, you will see productivity gain actually coming. Another factor that actually affects the performance of these large language models is the context length. There is a direct correlation between how much context length affects the overall accuracy of these large language models. You can see here that initially, if you have lesser context length, the performance is much better. But as you start increasing the context length, the performance actually starts dropping. At 32,000 tokens, it's almost half of what it was earlier. So no matter how good of a large language model that you are using, if you start increasing the overall context length, you will start seeing the overall performance degradation happen very quickly. And I have seen this happen consistently when even I am working. It basically means the productivity gain for the developer is function of 4 things, or I would say 5 things. One is which programming language are you using? The more popular, the better the performance will be. What is the context length? Don't increase the context length too much. Keep the context length less. If the maturity of the code base is not good, that is whether it is a greenfield or a brownfield project, that also impacts the overall productivity gain for the developer. Greenfield low complexity tasks are much better and brownfield low complexity tasks are much better. So greenfield projects are always going to give you a better productivity gain than the brownfield projects. And next is what kind of task you are doing. If it is low complex task, then you should be able to see better productivity gain than, say, for example, highly complex logic that you are implementing. When I say low, it's like writing UT, unit test code coverage. And complex, say for example, you want to implement a complicated role-based access control mechanism using a Node.js Express. that requires a lot of context and domain knowledge, and there it will definitely struggle. I have seen that happen. And then the code size, that also matters. Large code sizes, it will struggle, and smaller code sizes, you will get much better result. But what does it actually mean in terms of the percentage? What does it mean? Will there be more developer effort that would be needed to rework the mistakes that the LLM does? Yes, once again, the data exists. Especially after the introduction of agentic work, you can see that the rework has consistently increased over the period of time. So using AI in software engineering actually does increase the rework. That is one of the reasons why developers don't like using AI tools, because if it increases their rework, that basically means it is bringing their productivity down. And how much of a rework it is? Almost 15 to 25% of rework. So overall, net and net, the productivity gain from AI is somewhere between 15 to 20%, not more than that. If you are getting productivity more than this, then probably yours is a new code, which is a greenfield project, and that is the reason why you might be getting very good developer productivity gain. I hope that this helps you to recalibrate yourself in terms of how much productivity gain that you can really see in your work because of agentic AI tools. Feel free to let me know what has been your experience of using AI tools as a part of your developer workflow, and what kind of productivity gain that you are seeing in your workflows. Thanks for your time. That brings us to the end of this particular video. Don't forget to like, comment, share the video and subscribe to the channel. Take care. Bye.